And yeah, come back with the second video here for the showcase on the Collective Combined Fleet Tournament entries. We're picking up in the, well, basically the capital ships where you only got the budget for one in your fleet. We're on the Pry one. This is a ship that's 250,894 materials, and this was a campaign ship that, well, yeah, it's got one 0Q laser, two 400 millimeter Hesh APS, 24 top firing mixed missiles, 7 small torp interceptors, 8 top firing small interceptor missiles, and 0Q LAMs. So, I'm gonna find the one.
This is Bluthorn's ship, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember if it's Blowthorns or
If you press
Equalizers.
V,
V.
and then we read the author name Bluthorn, yes. Up top. This vehicle was made by someone
Oh
else,
yeah,
or
okay.
yeah.
I somehow seem to blank on that little bit of text most of the time. Okay.
Yeah, same. I
Yeah,
wish they had like emboldened it or something like that. But
right.
oh well.
And this ship also has a bit of a dipping issue, but the superstructure stays out of the water, so it's still technically a ship, even though it does this. So, like,
Suspicious.
yeah,
Very suspicious.
right, very sus.
You know, I was thinking of making a cram entry that had like a lot of tiny boats on like a platform underneath the sea.
Oh,
Um, and then I realized, wait, that's kind of like a submarine with the telescope on top. But
yeah.
oh, Bluthorn added some heavy armor at last minute that caused it to. Oh, but look at
The
this air
lasers,
defense.
oh yeah, well done with the laser taking out all three planes before they could get there. I think that was even better than the last entry.
Oh yeah.
Um, well, considering there's no damage, let's go ahead and move to.
I don't think you've seen the insides of this one yet, though. Just a reminder as you wanted one.
True. Okay. Well, we'll pop it open for a look here. Uh, that is a big old engine.
Well, you have a laser, so
Yeah.
understandable.
Right.
But it looks like one of those. Maybe not efficiency engines, but yeah.
It
I
might
thought it
be.
would be
It.
efficiency
Well,
engines.
let's see how much power it's producing. Oh, 21,325.7, which is quite a
If
lot
you,
for.
if you press Q on it again, what's the power per material or whatever? Let's see. Oh, so it's
Fluctuating a bit, but over 600.
it's over 600 power
Yeah.
per material, so
Oh,
it's fairly efficient.
yeah. Dipped below for a moment, but yeah, that is fairly efficient and produces a lot of power. And then you've got the lambs laser. I think it's combined actually. Talk about your zero clip.
And
Well,
then we yeah. It's You use a lot more materials in doing so, but it doesn't blow up the entire turret. Hopefully, if it's hit. So that's the main goal, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I will say, kudos for using a split turret. Usually you only have one like turret because it's more efficient, I believe. But it's basically the same fire rate if you combine this into one, I believe, from my testing. But I think I really enjoy these split turret designs. They are awesome and a bit harder to build as well because you need to keep the two separate.
Yeah, there is that. The APS has a tendency that if you don't separate things correctly, they'll try and combine parts that don't necessarily go on, or aren't intended to go on the same firing piece. It'll kind of do an odd merge on the clips, for example.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that looks like a scary gun.
Yeah. We shall see how it does against some ships. Actually, I'm considering Thunderchild is under the weight class. I'm going to pull in something kind of, again, closer to its weight class, but slightly over.
Oh yeah.
The
Look at
missiles,
this.
yeah, steady missiles doing good work.
But it's that laser as well. It's a quite scary. If you look at the damage numbers, you can see the laser is definitely.
Yes. Solid. And those missiles would keep CIWS busy, considering they're a steady stream. This little turret here, I think it was meant for detection originally, but right now it's only got the planar shield, so providing a little bit of protection for the laser.
With it being slightly submerged in water, I certainly hope people brought cavitation shells.
Yep, there are, well, several entries with cavitation.
Yeah, as one would expect in a
tournament that allowed for submarines, but
well, it's submarines can be killed with lots of things, but
yes, but
it's the certain angle when you have two ships broadsiding against each other. You have a lot of skimming off the water if you don't.
That too. Yeah.
Look at this.
That is good work.
That is some good work indeed.
And yeah, got 2 damaged Paladin off a ship that yeah, it hasn't taken too much damage. Like it's basically superficial armor damage. Well done. Next up, after that, we've got, let's see, the Adun Mark III, which is the Viknot version. Yeah, the Viknot version of the ship seen earlier, which is 2,500, or, excuse me, 257,882 materials. It's got one 90mm DP Sabot APS, one 500mm APHE, one 4Q laser, 10 Topfire medium interceptor missiles, 4 medium torp interceptors, and 4Q lambs. So Adun.
So in terms of cost, these two are quite similar. 250k versus 257.
Yeah.
I think this one isn't as well armored, if I remember correctly, but it is quite the quick support ship.
Well, yeah. The one thing that kind of helps with Viknot's building are these poles, as far as
Oh yeah,
soaking up
such.
soaking up the chem shells pretty well. Of course, getting a look inside. Big old steam engine. There's this empty section down here for for propulsion and such, keeping it more protected, as well as
attempted stability.
Yeah, stability, skimming, flotation, right?
I figured people would use rudders like in the old days, but perhaps that doesn't work as well as it used to.
The small rudders add drag, kind of like wings do, so they aren't nearly as good as they used to be, and they aren't adding as much turning as they used to either. So yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. I was back in the day. I tend to use those instead of hydrofoils.
Yeah, back in the day, I absolutely did too. Nowadays, well, the large custom rudders still work fairly well. And the ordinary rudders are okay, but like the fact that they add drag, it can actually help in some circumstances where you want like roll control using them, oddly enough, but it's not the same as it was. But
this is, in my opinion, one of the most versatile ship. It might not be like the most powerful in a
particular area, but it's a very, very good generalist. Yes.
It's very good for fleet battles, I think.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. That's the big APS gun on the back, and then you have the Sandblaster, quote unquote, in the middle, doing constant damage, and then laser as well comes in at times.
Yeah, up in the upper upper right section, you can always check the damage numbers from the various weapons, and compare them with others in the pool. Of course, disclaimer, all of the designs may have flaws that are not on display in these showcases, but again, encouraging people to do their own testing and find out what works best for them. But yeah, also, while there's still some firepower left on that side, let's see these lambs work if...
I think you might need a entry with missiles and such, slower projectiles to really see it working, but
yeah,
you can see it occasionally.
Yeah, you can see a flash occasionally. It's agreed, though. It probably would work better for, well, let's, bring it back with, our other friend. Just so we can see it knock down some cram.
And one thing that makes this a really good contender for this flagship in this tourney, I believe, is that APS gun on the back. It might not be like a sandblaster, but it has some penetration and does really good crippling strikes.
This one here, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Let's get a... Oh, already, yeah, low health there.
So,
I'll get a closer look at it when we get the despawn as far as damage numbers and such. Oh.
This one selects ammo type based
Yeah,
on the enemy it's facing.
This is the ship that chooses the ammo. So we've got several different choices. Let's see. Is this 500 millimeter? I think it's 500. 500? 500, yep. APHE, Super Cav. Yeah, nicely hefty. Tracer, I don't... okay. Pen depth, APHE, okay. And Chabot. Okay.
Another interesting fact, if you take a look at turret cap on backside, this is the same turret cap that's used on all turrets, except on the CIWS it's hidden by mimics. Yes, I know a little bit more about this one simply because it was in the consideration of like flagship material.
Yeah, I do think it's definitely a contender in that with a couple other designs.
And it's fairly good looking as well, if you ask me.
Yeah, this is the one that looks very like the modern American destroyer. With that general light sloping design in front. If it had like a secondary rail APS up here, then that would be like more true to the actual real design, but this is probably more efficient. Quite a quality laser too. I like the fact that it's got lambs. It adds a lot on the survivability with a pretty decent armor belt. Less lowered down, but then you've not got anything in here to matter about. Yeah, let's throw some planes at it. Oh. Well, one of them's been knocked out. Two. And that APS, oh man. That and the laser combined.
Bit of an issue when it tries to run away, but it's good enough to the point where it doesn't put its guns offline for too long,
Yeah.
which is good.
And I managed to take out all three of the planes on approach. So overall, very solid design. Let's see. So next, the official ship at 278,780. This one has 6 228mm frag APS, 2 76mm AP APS, 6 200mm HE APS, 18 HE simple weapon casemates, 2 simple weapon Bofors, and 7 medium reinforced HE torps. And this one was one that I had also built for Centerpoint. Which had a number of restrictions, so we'll see if it can take the planes out. I kind of sort of doubt it. And that's first pass here, you know. Well, maybe.
Yep. If it was a bomber, it would have been bombed.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I will admit I didn't really give this one too much consideration, but I did enjoy the purple shells though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was built with quite a number of restrictions, so it's got a lot of DACA, but as to the quality of the DACA, it's have a quick look inside. Just some lead poles to add some weight in the front.
Oh, interesting way to do it. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is probably a part of the tournament rules, I assumed.
Yeah, back in Centerpoint, you needed to have a certain number of
Yeah.
ammo storage in your turret wells, like, or turrets. According, I think, I don't remember what all the rules were, but it was like either number of parts or something with the gauge size or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Back in the day, when I didn't truly know Steam, going overboard on Steam.
Do you have any safety features on that at all?
I
I
don't.
wonder.
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. Oh, I've lost my way. Here. Yay.
Well, you do have some valves, I see. So, yep.
Yeah, but really not that much. It's. Still. Oh man, I guess I have to throw it in against the
Paladin, was it? Or
Paladin, yeah,
yeah.
and I don't think it's gonna do great, but we'll see.
Perhaps not as great as the other entries, but
Yeah,
we'll see. It's fairly tanky, so it should.
yeah, all those simple weapon casemates.
Do you enjoy the aesthetics of this craft?
Which one? That one, or are you talking about the one that's getting blown up here?
The one that's getting blown up.
Yeah. I like the Steel Strider's realism as far as World War II-ish aesthetics. I mean, they definitely put their own twist on it, but like,
Oh yeah,
the the casemate design looks quite German to me, like World War II German.
But how is your own ship looking after this
Yeah,
slight brawl?
let's have a look here.
Totally fine, right? Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all right.
It's fairly tanky from all the free for alls I ran, but it doesn't have the greatest DPS.
Yeah, it kind of really doesn't. So yeah, in a war of attrition, it's not guaranteed to come out on top.
Hey, first
Yeah.
turret down.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any pink/purple shells anymore.
Yeah, I wonder. Oh, well, this turret's been taken out, so Yeah, those shells aren't coming in anymore.
It
If
might
this one was firing.
lose if it still has that broadside operational though. Casemates, right?
I mean, yeah, casemates, they're simple HE, but there being enough of them. If this one had a role, I would say anti-light ship. Like, you know, your 50K designs and such, but anything a bit more tanky is just... Like, the HE doesn't do very well against layered metal.
HE is good in confined spaces, but
Yeah.
you know, when you have some armor and if there is a pleak slash heavy armor layering, for example, it might struggle a fair bit.
Yeah. And it's taken a number of hits, but it's slow on the damage. I'm just gonna move on. So next we've got the Exalted Sandblaster, which I think is a meta-defining ship. It's at 298,440, and it simply has two 6-barrel 90mm DP Sabot sandblasters. And Exalted Sandblaster, the blaster of sand.
Probably the ship with the most DPS out of the big heavy ships, and probably all ships in the tournament.
It does have a lot of DPS potential, but it also has a tendency to get distracted.
Yes, so it has a couple of massive weaknesses. Its top armor is very weak, and it tends to get distracted, but should win in a lot of straight up fights like this.
Right.
Should,
the top armor and the bottom armor both, but the side armor is very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at it from the side and you have high velocity shells coming at it, it should tank those all day.
Yeah, this is another design with the so it's got like a fair amount of wood, but then it's got the wedges.
The wedges.
The wedges. Yeah.
Only it had like the armor layout is like, maybe you could define it as a weakness to have weak topside armor, but a lot of crafts have a weak topside armor layout. But the main problem I think with this one was if there are missiles in the air, it will target the missiles. But the damage is, look at the damage. It's 2 million already. And it has already killed the craft it's facing. So.
Right. So the fact that this can output so much damage, and the fact that it has those certain flaws, means that you have to take that into consideration when choosing a fleet, right? So it helps define the meta, whether or not it's actually part of what's chosen. This thing exists, therefore the consideration
yeah,
on beating this thing needs to be accounted for.
yeah. Absolutely. You might bring a couple of missiles extra just to distract it, perhaps not to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or maybe you bring, like, more uh, torpedoes that come up from below or missiles that come down from above, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And this thing is just going to swat these planes, but
I will say I have done a couple tests with my own, and yes, the gun is very good. It might be a little too good, and so it will not swat the planes as quickly as you might imagine. And there we go, barrage away.
uh, even so, it was like right as it was releasing that it got
Yeah,
taken
yeah.
out.
I mean, in my book, the way I measure like anti-air is like, will the enemy planes get the initial barrage like that could cripple me? And if so,
Well,
then I.
one of them survived that long, and it missed. So I mean, oh, let's
Yeah,
try it. Let's try again.
it's really good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's too good.
Oh
In
yeah,
fact, like if you look at it, it will focus fire a plane until it's completely dust. But that leaves the other planes to be able to come in and do a barrage like that.
yeah,
And you can imagine if those are a little bit, uh,
yeah. If they had more firepower
yeah,
involved,
that
something
could be
like
a issue.
some heat missiles maybe that if only there were some in the tournament.
No, it's a really strong contender, and
Yes,
I feel there might be people picking this one because it's certainly
right. It's
I
in the contention.
I want to say it has one of the best DPS outputs out of the crafts.
Agreed. Of course, when you get to these capital class designs, choosing which one to go for is eh, it's not so easy to tell. Like, 'cause you've only got room for one in the budget.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like if you have other ships that can keep this one safe, then you win the match. But if you have ships that, if you're able to kill this one quickly, then that might be a big issue.
Yeah. I
It,
also
it's it's what you call a glass cannon, although it has very much armor from the sides, I believe.
yeah, it's arguably the tankiest design from the side in the tournament.
No, I think the tankiest design goes to the next one.
Yeah, actually, I realize that I have missed a design, but I'll catch it at the end. But I also do need to uh, do the Anomala card, which I skipped over for some reason, just because I seem to have missed putting it in my list. Um, but yeah, this one, the most expensive ship in the tournament, the Kaiju Nudibranch at 2,000 or 299,049, and this is equipped with four 34 millimeter Super Cav heavy head APS and 24 medium top firing Thump and HE missiles. And this would be the other arguably tankiest design in the tournament.
In my opinion, this
Mm,
one is slightly tankier than the other one. It does seem to like Well, I shan't reveal what counters what, but it
Yeah,
has a weakness, this one as well. But it might not be as obvious.
agreed. Agreed. I mean, yeah, they both have specific weaknesses that are counterable.
But I feel like this one is a little bit more well-rounded than the other one,
Yeah, those
and so
underslung APS fill quite a diverse role in what they're doing. They're
feel like this might be the flagship of a couple people,
hmm
because it's yeah, certainly tanky.
yeah, definitely another strong
A
contender.
a
Tanky.
good DPS on it as well.
Yeah, which
So
we will see here shortly. But yeah, large steam for its power, and it's got redundant AIs. And then you get the shield ring top down, providing plus 8.2, so adding more to this top tankiness. And yeah, from above, it was built again for the squadron shootout tournament mentees that had some rather brutal cram bombers. So designed with planes in mind, with bombers in mind. But we've got laser designated short range thrust. This one in particular is just thump.
it's fairly alright missiles in my opinion. Good DPS. Maybe not the most
Yeah,
agile, but
yeah.
it's
It's more anti-ship than anti-air for sure. Um, but
haven't seen pure thump missiles in years.
yeah,
Oh,
this was
thump missiles are good though.
this
Thump
was
missiles are excellent.
yeah, this was built when thump missiles were really good, too. So
I mean, they
they were
still
like,
are.
well, yeah. I mean, when they were like the standard meta, where everybody
Yeah,
was
yeah,
using them.
true, true.
But
Honestly, I think most my missiles are like mostly thump and then HE, just to get through CWIS, and then the HE is to blow up in enclosed areas once you get inside the ship.
oh yeah, that's a pretty good strategy. And the thump also eats up the CWIS a lot better.
Yeah, I think this will do fairly well against the planes. Uh,
Until they get closer, I don't know if they'll be targeted
it
close
has
in.
a surprisingly good angle for the guns. It doesn't kill the planes, but the top armor is very good, as you've
Yeah,
stated.
yeah, it's soaking up the plane's
And you
damage.
don't really have any heavy duty bombers in the tournament, so it's
Right.
like obviously if you had say yeah, some heavy duty bombers, then it might be in big trouble, but
It would certainly be in more trouble, but I think it would probably survive if you had a good fleet composition.
yeah, I feel like this is one of the ships I actually also considered as my flagship role ship. Um, just simply because it's fairly versatile. It's super tanky, so you can put it on the front line and you can expect it not to die. I feel like.
Yeah,
Of course, it's a little bit of risk to put your flagship in the front to be targeted. I guess first. Um,
oh, we're getting
yeah,
some
there
missile
we
hits
go.
there. Yep,
Yeah, there
okay.
we go.
Okay. takes it a while. We'll see how it does against the Paladin.
It doesn't seem like it's doing much, but it's actually doing a fair bit.
Right, it's very steady.
Yeah.
And the underslungs are DP, so they'll take out torpedoes.
There we go, turret popped. And this is just have it target a certain area just long enough until it chews through a certain amount of armor, and yeah, the missiles getting in on the inside. Oh no, that is nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, a really strong contender, I feel like, this one.
Yeah, and these hits are quite angled, so...
It does have some weaknesses, but it will be interesting to see if there's any fleets that can exploit those, if it gets a lot of use.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling 3 potential flagships that would be like really good contenders for flagship choices.
Yeah, I feel like there are 3 main flagships to consider, and then you have, you know, if
your choice of escort.
or rather, it's 4 if I'm being like completely honest. As there are some value to the one not so obvious, I guess.
I think I may know which one you're talking about, and yeah, okay, I'll include it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it will be interesting to see what people select, though.
Agreed. Especially considering there's not as much air superiority, well, or yeah, as you would kind of expect in a fleet tournament this time around.
As Bluethorn states, there's something to be said for the redundancy of swarms, but being able to focus multiple weapons on the same aim point is really useful, and
yeah,
I think this vessel certainly showcased that. You know, lots of small fire on a single point just gets through eventually.
Yeah, the weapons, those underslungs, have a very high rate of fire. They're at 1,530 rounds per minute each. So, just tons of DACA.
Jelly spawn! No, I'm kidding. I assume you've accounted for this.
Let's see. Oh, the one that I still needed to do here.
Oh, a entry I haven't
yeah,
seen.
Huge missiles.
Huge missiles.
Right.
I like it.
Huge missiles.
I definitely considered it myself. But I think you might need a little bit like if you had a thumper head on those, for example, it would be better.
Yeah. Uh,
not the way I would have huge missiles, to put it that way. Shrimp-like designs. I don't know what to call this.
Yes, actually, it's based on ancient shrimp, like Cambrian area,
Oh, well, there you go.
where the shrimp had these like tentacle-ish jaw parts. So.
Yeah. Pincers
Um,
or like
grasping jaws.
Yeah.
I'll throw up a picture or something later. But
Oh my! Editing the video?
no. I mean on Discord.
On Discord.
On
Yeah,
Discord,
got you.
This used to like before a little bit of editing. It had some like jets and some ion thrust and ion roll control, so it was faster. But well,
Why did you remove the jets, I wonder?
not allowed for ships.
Oh, right.
Technically, the Paladin is definitely out of its weight class. This is only 128,000 range, but
This one? With the huge missiles as well?
yeah.
That is actually surprising to me. And that's bound to do a lot of damage.
Yeah,
Let's have a look.
look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, how much is it really? The shrimp designs? Sorry, I'm gonna call it the shrimp now.
See here. Oh, sorry,
186.
186. Yeah. Okay. So
it's almost up there with the other heavy
yeah,
flagships.
you technically could squeeze 2 of these in, but
you technically could.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's an almost flagship class. Oh, we had one.
Yeah, no, I was actually considering making a ship with a single, very well-balanced, huge missile on board.
Oh, nice.
It's you can see the damage of the heavy missiles. It's not more efficient than large missiles. It's just more satisfying to watch when it hits, I believe.
It really is. I think they are out of range, maybe?
Yeah, slightly out of range.
Just, yeah.
And I think if you had pump heads, they would gain that little extra speed to reach the ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. It's very satisfying to look at. Just a good amount of.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that it's a little too expensive to fit in with another flagship.
Yeah, like
because those
you can't like
missiles are tempting.
If you choose this one and you bring a larger amount of small escort vessels, I mean, it is possible. But keep in mind, you are facing quite the strong opposition with the enemy having
yes,
possible flagships, I guess.
The sandblasters and such.
Yeah.
And the tankiness on this one's not going to hold up to the same level as those designs, so it's is definitely a trade-off. Do have the planer shield helping add a little protection, but
Yeah.
also let's not, discount smoke when it comes to defenses on designs.
Smoke is really good, though in most tournaments where laser crafts are prominent, I tend to have the smoke be deployed at once and rather have it turn off after a while, because a lot of laser crafts tend to have like a heavy alpha strike, and then they charge whilst your ship is smoking up, which, you know.
And managed to punch above its weight there a little bit. Oh, what are you doing? Damaged.
So, a potential issue when it comes to like combat damage, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Although it's still fine. It's just
Yeah.
you
It
have to
popped a
be
wheelie.
aware of everything, because if one of these flip by some accidental combat damage, then that's a 180k you can't really use.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a speedboat, right?
Sort of.
Almost.
It's a slightly on the slower end speedboat, right? Like, because it would have been a lot faster in the pre-tweaked version. Oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, tis what it is. But yeah, most of my designs do have smoke on them, so
I
worth a
think,
consideration.
interestingly enough, the Kaiju being the tankiest design,
Hmm.
I don't think it has smoke, if I remember correctly.
I think it did. I think it
It
did.
did? Oh, might have missed it.
Well, let me actually go in on it just briefly, just to take a look. I think it did, but
I might be completely wrong here, I mean, you built this craft, not me, so you know it better. But I don't think it did.
I mean, it might not. It might not, in order to not interfere with the laser
Yeah,
guidance there.
I assumed it was something like that. You have
Smoke
two smoke
dispensers, yeah,
yeah, two, but
yeah.
I'm not
Well,
sure how much they do. Oh well,
I mean,
might be good, might be bad.
I suspect that they're probably somewhat lower down-ish. I don't know exactly where they are. It's been too long, but um, yeah. I mean, I thought that there were some on there,
Oh yeah, it had two. I wasn't sure. I was at some point testing it against just regular lasercraft, and it seemed to penetrate quite deeply into it.
Hey.
But it might have been a very strong lasercraft. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely possible. I mean, um, smoke's only cutting the AP rather than the damage. Let's see. Okay, so now we're moving on to the 3 planes that are in the tourney. We've got
Glorious plane.
Shot in the Dark, which is the cheapest of them, at 11,950, and it's got 150 millimeter heat APS. Dark, where are you?
A favorite part of any tournament.
Oh,
The
whoops.
small planes. You can just lift it out of the water and it would be
I
fine.
could, yeah. But yeah, here we've got just Heat from above could be good. Kind of depends.
Yeah. One of the biggest strengths of this one, I feel like, is the ability to stick to our target. So, if we get to see it in action now, it will be interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of the crafts in this tournament don't really have.
Whoops.
Wow. Oops.
Well, that happened.
Did I jinx it? Perhaps.
How about let's actually try some planes.
This is actually a plane from another tournament which uses custom control surfaces, and so it could be even more agile. It's than it is. It's just that I think it still follows those tournaments restrictions, and that's kind of neat to see, obviously.
Yeah, it did very well in that tournament on getting behind the opponents.
Oh yeah, didn't it get like
shooting them up from behind?
I sure should remember this, but I think it got second place or something like that. Just really good at.
I remember it being one of the only designs that actually survived against the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, now it's facing something that's a bit too quick for it, perhaps. I think those planes might be in the 150 range, but it's dodging pretty much every missile, so it's fine.
Oh, these planes now. They're. Sorry. Sparrow Squadron, 3 of them at 47.
Really? Huh. It should be able to follow a little bit closer, but not sure.
It's doing pretty well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
granted, the damage output is a bit low.
Yeah, and especially when you consider this plane will be facing
ships, yeah,
battleships and such.
Very tanky designs and such.
Yeah, the gun might not cut it, but it's a good distraction, and so like if this buys your, like say if you have 2 flagship craft fighting, then it might be a good distraction long enough for the other one to,
yeah, and like
to win.
Like was mentioned in the chat, it maybe it gets a lucky strike on a turret with the heat and takes it out or something.
Yeah.
A lot of craft tend to be vulnerable to chem shells from above.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Though, to be fair, I think
it's actually doing pretty well against these planes here.
Oh yeah, it's a good anti-fighter. Though to be fair, these planes only have missiles.
Yeah. But still, took out the entire squad. So, well done.
Yeah, not even a scratch.
Let's see. Next on the planes, we've got the F1 Raven, which is 12,184 materials, and it's got one 100mm Hesh.
That sounds like a Wong plane. Hey, there it is.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I'm surprised that you allowed thrust vectoring, and very few people did it.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe some people that maybe like didn't see the tournament or something might have been interested in doing that, but like they're just not in, right? They're not around, or maybe focusing on other things or whatnot. But let's give this one a test here.
Has a much stronger cannon, I believe.
Yeah, comparatively.
We'll see if that helps it.
Right.
Oh, it's Hesh.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, Hesh rather than heat.
So I'm uncertain if that's a like munition warning behavior that it slows down a little bit, or if it's you know, as it passes by. Yeah, probably
Let's have a quick look inside.
attack run AI. Yeah.
Can always
Since
check that. Attack run. Yeah.
it would be additional if it had like munition behavior, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have the cards for it, so yeah. Cool stuff, cool stuff.
Having a little bit of difficulty with the planes. Managed to get a hit in there though. Give it a test against the ship 2 here soon. It holds its own. It doesn't crash into the opponents. So. And of course.
I think you spoke a bit too soon.
Yeah, I jinxed it. Well. Okay, let's throw out the... little friend, the Thunder Child. Well, yeah, it seems like the planes are having a bit of issue with their approach with these cram planes.
I think my plane, I decided to go for a very steep angle to avoid just things like that happening.
Yeah, I got a chance to test it out, even with it under budget. It performed very well.
Oh yeah, it performed a little bit too well, I feel like, because it would probably
Well, yeah,
yeah.
it definitely would have been another meta-defining entry.
Yeah.
What was our last plane that we've got is the T-31B1 at 18,625
The more
materials.
advanced fighter from Solar Admiral, I believe.
And this one's got two 20mm AP APS. Where are we? Okay. certainly faster. Last plane design. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of DACA.
Yeah, yeah. It's the more advanced version of the shot in the dark. I believe it
Nice.
has a lot more DACA. I think I might have accidentally insulted his gun on the shot in the dark, and then
Oh.
no, I'm not gonna say anything like that. But this one certainly has a much more substantial amount of DACA.
Agreed, and that is actually quite a bit for a plane this size. And that's 20 millimeter. I want to check damage on that here. So, good AP. Not that much damage, but that many shells, well, I mean, I have a feeling this would be good against other aircraft. Might do fairly well against small ships. We'll see. So, well, if I can avoid getting hit by the cram shells.
It's a little bit wobbly, which is good, but yeah, once again.
Oof.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's not the best approach angle, sadly, but yeah. What can you do?
Yeah. A feeling that the test ship is not very friendly to the planes. The particular that I'm throwing it up against. So,
Bluton says an impressive AA showing for the Onyx Watch. Yeah.
for this is Steel Striders, the Thunder Child. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but oh man, it's an easy. Yeah. I get a chuckle out of that.
This, I think it will do significantly better in munition warners. Hell yeah.
And that took it out on the first. Wait. Oh, I guess it's still standing. I thought it took out the plane on the first pass there.
Well, it disabled something.
Yeah, it did damage. Yeah.
Which, to be honest, in a plane-on-plane combat, it's as long as you disable it, it's a win in my book. Though obviously, if you spiral, you can still fire missiles and all that. So.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't have any missile planes. Also, something else I figured there would have been in the tournament, but
missile or cram bombers or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by. It's like if I could design just something over and over, it would be these tiny aircraft thingies. Always fun to design. The initial prototype doesn't take too long, but when you want to tweak it and get the aesthetics just right, I know it can take hours upon hours. Finding just the right block configuration to have the right balance between aesthetics and performance, and yeah. This one could do with a coat of paint, though. I will say that.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest, but it I mean, it has interesting shapes. So
you have interesting shapes. You have wings.
Right.
But it could do with a coat of paint. It would give it a little bit of.
Agreed, or even just some camo.
Yeah, some camo, and it would be.
Yeah. Sometimes camo I think looks better than paint even, but it just kind of depends.
Yeah, it really depends.
Yeah.
Like if you have like a camo covering your entire craft, like a certain version of the Adun, then I'm not a big fan. But like you have the Adun which doesn't have camo, and then you have the one you signed, I believe,
Yeah,
which does have
it's,
camo
it's striped. I mean,
over the entire thing.
oh,
I'm sorry,
that's the
Sean.
other
I'm just
the
being
official.
honest.
Yeah.
So that's one point where like paint looks better than camo, but certainly you have instances where camo, even a full camoed craft, looks a lot better than a painted one.
Yeah. It's doing all right. Um,
It will win eventually, I
right.
believe.
There's a part of me that wonders if the other
Yeah, I think
plane
the other one won
was,
quicker, but
yeah,
chemical rounds, man. It's
right.
you got those chemical rounds going, and then
True. Well, survivability on planes, when you've got the ships, it's not the
yeah,
greatest.
I figured planes would be a good delivery system or a good distraction. That's
Yeah,
the role they have in such a tournament, but
I'm inclined to agree with you there. I think so too. And
but a
also
air
also
superiority role,
preventing
I'm
that.
not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, being like anti-air planes.
I feel like lasers will be better. Like
Yeah,
ground lasers will be just better at that. You can smoke up a plane, but it doesn't really do much.
right. Yeah, fair. Well, then again, yeah, there aren't a lot of laser entries. There are a few, but you're probably going to have some fleet comps that don't have any. I would imagine.
Perhaps, yeah.
Still, doing its job, and I think, I do believe, we've come to the end of our accepted entries. Um, I mean, the submarines that you had entered would work, but I take it they've been withdrawn without the planes. I want just to be
Oh
clear
yeah,
on that.
they work in combination with planes a bit better.
Okay, so
But yeah,
it is a withdrawal then for the submarines. Okay.
it's fine. I was a bit muffed by my planes being withdrawn. Then again, I do realize they are also tad bit too strong in comparison to what they cost, and so it might not be good for variation and stuff like that. So
They were high
it
quality though. I
I
probably would
did
have used them myself if they were in.
I did build I did enjoy the aesthetics I managed to get with almost pure block usage, which was quite good
Yeah.
in my opinion. Like not the best, but without decorations, almost it's pretty good.
Yeah, I can actually just show them off, even though they're not actually in on accepted designs. Come on. I need to
Yeah.
catch you.
The reasons why these ones are so quick are thrust vectoring. So it's
Yes.
yeah. So
That's,
notice the wings. Yeah. Normally I use decos for wings,
yep.
but yeah.
And these wonderful 500 millimeter
Oh yeah.
guns
These
do a fair amount of
actually
damage.
they like a squad of these can take out most of the flagships that were present in the tournament. And let's see if it can. I've been complaining about approach angles, and let's just see the Overwatch. I mean, the Thunderchild obliterated with the.
Nope.
Ooh, close though.
Yeah, it's too quick though. It's it's got the speed and wobbly advantage.
Yeah, I actually had it that stable, and then I realized I should probably make it a little bit wobbly, so it didn't. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like this is a seriously strong design as plane goes. So like I think people probably would have been using them for sure.
yeah. I did notice like you could spam 10 of these, for example, and yes, I added smoke on my submarine as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, I think that's probably
It, it
reasonable.
is it is strange how good lasers are underwater. So just a quick submarine I threw together.
Yeah. With
The missiles are a bit different, so some of them contain frag,
yeah,
but most of them it's
it's a mix,
HE or Thumper.
which happened to be good against certain entries.
Yes.
But yeah,
The
just,
most is I think most of it is redundant ammo. I mean not redundant, but redundancy. Yeah, and the
yeah,
ammo is sectioned off into like checkerboard pattern. So if it blows up, it only blows up a little bit, and all is all is good. So it's not super tanky, but it's decently tanky as well.
yeah, agreed. And I mean, yeah, that's another thing I think I am surprised about is that there weren't more submarines.
I
And
was expecting pack submarines.
yeah, same here.
Like entries tend to have weak belly armor, and you can kind of shoot down flyers, and you have perfect detection. Like the, but I guess pack is it's a little bit cost inefficient, and so
Right.
people kind of.
Yeah, and considering some of the comments, the idea of not building and submitting something that's better against what you want to play with than against the other stuff.
True. I didn't really consider it. I mostly yeah, I guess you want to mislead a little bit, like tell
Yeah,
people
like there's
one thing is like super good and then do something completely opposite or do something that counter it.
yeah, there's some
Definitely,
meta tactics involved.
definitely a little bit of not diplomacy, but like social engineering goes into winning this tournament.
Yeah,
But
it
but
that's
no, I didn't consider anything like that.
like I do agree with the thought on calling out potential flaws as you see them, potential counters as you see them, discussing strategy. I mean, like, yeah, obviously don't outright lie about anything, but I definitely encourage personal testing, so that you satisfy your own like understanding of, hey, this actually defeats this, or this is a good pair with this other thing, right? Like that you're not going purely off what other people say, right? Because there's sure to be a little bit of mind games involved in what you're going for as a
True,
fleet
true.
comp. Yeah.
I don't really plan to participate, so I can say this. I think the Dun is a wonderful flagship and people should use it.
Mm.
Although some people will disagree with me on that.
Oh, I agree. I think it's a very quality, very diverse
Yeah.
ship that can be used, or is
If
useful
you
in a lot of
have
different ways.
if you can get some other crafts on the front line and stuff like that, I think that can be a very strong contender. Um, but we'll see how it goes in this tournament.
Mm.
You didn't show off one of the submarines. I think you had one submarine entry, but it
Uh,
was kind of like a boat.
yeah, no, that was right before you arrived. It was the first one.
Oh, right. I was a late joiner, I see.
Oh, not by very much, just one single entry. But yeah, so we've gone through the designs that have been accepted. There were several that, well, a number that weren't, for various reasons, be it budgeting or even aesthetics. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um, I do I really do get aesthetics as it's a part of like what makes a tournament a tournament. It's like the challenge of trying to combine the two. Though for the sake of diversity, some of them might have been included, but it's good that you stick to what you put in the rules about aesthetics and all that, and you
yeah.
make the call.
I
I know I certainly would have struggled to make that call.
Yeah, I didn't have an
Um,
easy time of it because like there's a line that several of the designs are basically at, and it's like I don't
yeah,
really want to reject it, but I really wish I could ask for more. But I
it's a
guess it's
good
okay.
it's a good rule, I guess, to say I mean aesthetics without decos, to make it somewhat of a challenge. But where do you put the bar? That's harder to like
Right.
define, I suppose.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's potentially more frustrating for people. I mean, I heck, I've gotten rejected for
I
aesthetics on Menti Tournament before, so like
hey,
I know the feeling.
I was unsure about that kaiju man.
Yeah,
I certainly think it's very strange. So the kaiju aesthetically for me does not much, but it feels like a strategic unit, like a unit you might find in a game like Supreme Commander or something like that. Whilst certain other crafts feel more boring. Like
yeah,
if we take a look at it, yes, it has spikes, and I do enjoy my spikes. I really do, and it has a paint job, which really does a lot for it. But if you remove the spikes and remove the paint,
yes.
what
Then
what
it
are you left
I
with?
if the spikes and the paint were removed, I would fail myself on aesthetics.
Yeah,
I mean, bluntly, straight up, like it the 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 shape is like pretty common for like a tournament design. It's just tournament building sort of leads to diamond E shapes.
Yeah, I mean, tournament optimizing leads to a certain design.
Yeah,
I enjoy trying to challenge that by building pretty and at the same time tournament competitive. But
yeah. I mean,
you know,
I try. I mean, it kind of depends on the tournament too, right?
it is a
And
time consumer as well to
y-
try to do that.
yeah, definitely. And this one, like I say, a lot of designs are old designs from who knows where, previous tournaments, campaign, uh, you know, previous discarded builds or whatever.
Damn
And
it! I
so
should have just zipped all my folders and given it.
there, there you go.
You
But
would have so much entries to
oh
check.
no, I bet. Uh, well, I
Like
mean,
3 gigabytes worth of blueprints.
I may have another one of these in the future at some point.
Yeah,
Hopefully
would
there would
be.
be more variety. It seems this one's mostly bound for ships, mostly. So
Well, it was a good rule set, I guess, and yeah,
yeah,
certainly not anything like too OP in the entries, and so it will be very
true,
interesting to look at what entries will be the best fleet composition.
true. Yeah, that is worth stating. It does seem that there's a bit of rock scissors paper in the mix.
Yeah,
So nothing like too dominant in the lineup, like an obvious gotta have it kind of pick.
yeah, and you know, a tournament like this would lose a lot of the variety if you had one of those entries that if you didn't bring it, you would be at a disadvantage, basically,
Right.
right?
Agreed. And I think
So that's
having
kind of
some,
good for the tournament,
yeah,
in my opinion.
having flexibility there should help on fleet diversity. Although I still think there are going to be several designs that we see a lot of.
I do foresee some prominent designs, but
Yeah,
I mean, when you have a huge roster, there will be a couple of outliers. So
yeah,
obviously,
yeah. Let's see. Closing thoughts. So I will be holding the deadline for the uh, fleet compositions from people next week, and then basically diving in on the brackets and starting the matches. What I'd like is for people to just PM me their fleet lineup in the order that they want it spawned in. So, like if you set, for example, planes first, that's where they're going to be in your lineup. If you mix them in, I'll mix them in as your order dictates. Um, Please again remember max budget 400,000 and any restrictions for class type on budgeting. Um, yeah, I probably will hold another one of these in the future. Probably hold something else before that. Maybe another big boy boss battle. And of course, I've got Star Sector to concern myself with as of next month. So, um, right. I think we've covered about everything on this. I'll figure out how I'm going to do the aesthetic voting. Probably, heck, I may even just have people write in what they choose as their pick.
I'm
Um,
fairly certain of the winner,
yeah,
but oh well.
I'll create a channel for that though,
Yeah,
and probably start that up once the deadline comes in for the chosen fleets, right? So yeah, that's about all I can think of. You got any closing thoughts? Oh well.
No, it has been great to watch this stream of all the different options people can choose for the tournament, and it will be very interesting to see what will
Come of it.
prove to
Yeah.
be the quote unquote meta or
Yeah.
the common.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and yeah, as always, until next time, enjoy.